Welcome back to Politics Tonight, and the conversation tonight is about the state of the nation. And for the past 30 minutes thereabouts, I've been speaking with the National Secretary of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Senator Ajibola Basiru. All right, distinguished, let's now get back to your party. The administration campaigned on the Renewed Hope agenda. How well has this manifesto been implemented?
We just in 5 months into the administration. And of course, the building blocks for the realization of the Renew Hope agenda are actually being put in place by the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. One, you must first realize that the administration has decided to restructure the ministries in such a way that there will be realization of the different components of the Renew Hope agenda. For instance, in the health sector, you see that there is the overall minister and also the minister that is specially charged with certain critical sector of the health sector. You also look at the area of the solid minerals, whereas you have minister for solid minerals. You also have ministers specifically for steel development, which is a critical area necessary for industrialization. Also, you also have a situation whereby the old Ministry of Transportation is now split into Ministry of Transportation and the Ministry of Blue and Marine Economy, which is now one of the areas by which our approach to diversification of the economy could be realized, and so on and so forth. So in terms of the conceptualization of the structure of government itself, you have seen, the seed being planted for germination for the realization of the, Renew Hope, agenda. And of course, in the education, sector, you can see that efforts are being made to ensure that we are able to meet, different challenges in that regard. Of this, of late, is also the fact that the Mr. President has said that the denial of payment to striking ASU members should be reversed so that they could be able to have some form of encouragement to be able to discharge their work in that regard. So as far as I'm concerned, you also look at the issue of the student loan, which has been signed into the bill and which, if implemented, we're able to assist the vulnerable in society to have access to quality education, particularly tertiary education.
All right, so I want you to react to a narrative. The president inaugurated his cabinet a few months ago, but Nigerians say most of them are yet to hit the ground running. How will you react to this?
I wouldn't know how somebody will sit in his house and say that the ministers have not hit the ground running, unless maybe they expected them to wear their sports shoe and be running around their ministries. Work of ministers are done either in the confines of their offices, at meeting places, and of course, if it has to do with field works, they have to go and for site supervision. And quite a number of the ministers, I've seen them doing their work, and they have things to show for what they are doing in terms of their deliverable in their ministries.
All right, but for those who are yet to hit the ground running, what do you have to say to them?
No, any minister that has not hit the ground running. Maybe if you furnish me with information about those ministers, then we may have to call on the president and the special advisor on policy coordination, Adisa Bala Usman, that such people should be asked to get the ground running. But I don't believe that there's any minister since inauguration has not been doing what they're supposed to do. I saw the Minister of Sports going around our sporting facilities, and even I had conversation with him talking about the need for private investment in the sporting sector. You also have just even this evening, the Minister for Blue and Marine Economy, we were together at eating Transcorp at the venue where the National Economic Summit is holding. So I wouldn't know which minister that is not doing his own work. But in politics, people are wont to make allegations which are not founded. So I would say that the allegation that there's any minister that has not, been up and doing is unfounded.
Right. Also, the president has constantly reminded these new ministers that they cannot disappoint Nigerians who expect them to serve with dignity and competence to actualize this renewed hope agenda. And he also said that actions will be taken if any minister is found wanting. How instructive is this for you?
I think I said earlier on that there is a section in the presidency, which is the Policy Coordination Department, which has set up parameters for performance and evaluation of the work of the minister. So that will be the basis upon which the president might have been speaking on the need for the ministers to know that there is an evaluation platform and there are responsibilities for which they will be able to get evaluated, possibly on a quarterly basis, as to delivering on the core mandate as specified in the various mandates given to the ministers.
Right. So the president has made several appointments, but some support groups are aggrieved over the APC reward system. How is the party addressing this?
I would say that the question of a reward system is neither here nor there. Yes, we are a political party. We have won an election, and we won election on the basis of delivering on the Renew Hope agenda. If we can find expertise within our party, of course, they will be given responsibility to carry on those responsibilities. And of course, quite a number of our party persons had actually been given responsibility in this government. Of course, if you also find competent people who are Nigerians and will be able to also support the realization of the Renew Hope agenda, I don't think it will be said that it is wrong to make such people available for the purpose of achieving the goal of Mr. President. I think that should be we should put that in proper perspective. So it's not just to say that yes, because APC has won election, irrespective of that, we should not allow other Nigerians who may even not be politicians not to participate in the political process.
So why do you think this is hard for some of your party members to understand?
Because it's not, everybody wants to have access to government. Everybody would want, to participate one way or the other in government. And of course, the party members have legitimate right and expectation to say that, yes, we work for the future of the party and we must be involved in that process. But as it were, there are still countless number of possible public engagement by the government, and we believe that as time goes on, the president will get the party leadership to sit down and then be able to get suitable party members and stalwarts to get engaged, particularly in boards of our parastatals and in boards of our schools and all other areas by which their services may be needed. You still have possibly thousands of places where party members could be engaged. Of course, as a party, we are constructively engaging with the necessary offices, that of the SGF, the Chief of Staff, and of course, Mr. President, on the need to get competent, and I play emphasis on the competent members of our party to be part of the governance process.
All right, so we've also seen the president reverse some appointments he made. Why this?
Of course, there might be misinformation, because it might well be that the president, with respect to the handlers in those respect, might not have furnished Mr. President with adequate information, or the information is not really clear as to who is intended to be appointed. It may also be possible that the president is being responsive to the agitations and criticism of members of the public. And I think that we should see this as a double-edged sword. If president had taken a decision, and it is said that the president reconsidered those decisions, and I think the president should be applauded. Otherwise, we will have a situation whereby there will be perpetuation of error that may not augur well for the smooth and effective administration of the government. So it takes a courageous leader to realize that certain mistakes have been made and then reverse those mistakes. But we hope that the handlers of Mr. President will be more circumspect, will be more thorough, and will be able to avail Mr. President with necessary facts before such appointments are made. For instance, appointments to certain offices by law require certain threshold in terms of accomplishment, in terms of professional expertise, and in terms of age of cognate experience. So one expects that the handlers of some of those responsibilities should be alive to be able to look critically at the bio and the resume of those appointees before they present it to Mr. President. You cannot expect that it's Mr. President himself that will be fishing and looking at those things, but then the finished work must be done in a way that is seamless, and that I will project thoroughness in those who are given those responsibilities.
All right, let's move on to other issues, and particularly this off-season governorship elections in Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi states. How ready is the APC?
We are ready, and we are happy today that the Supreme Court has laid to rest the contest within the party as to who is to fly the flag of our party in the November 11 election in Kogi State. The Supreme Court this afternoon dismissed the petition by Senator Smart Adeyemi and affirmed the candidature of Adodo as our candidate in Kogi election. Of course, the incumbent governor, who is also the chairman of the Progressive Governors Forum, Senator Opuzodima, is our flag bearer. Is a politician that has grassroots appeal, and with the kind of support that we saw during the inauguration campaign in Owerri, we are very optimistic that we will be able to deliver on Imo State. Same thing with Kogi State, by the grace of God. And of course, Bayelsa, we won the election in Bayelsa about 4 years ago, and it was taken away from us by court judgment on the eligibility of our deputy governorship candidate. So we are hopeful to reenact the feat of the last election also in Bayelsa State. And of course, we are not resting on our horse. The elections are just some few weeks away. We are going to do all to ensure that we mobilize, sensitize, and get the electorate to vote for our party, the APC, in all the 3 elections.
Right, but do you see the APC retaining power in 2 of the 3 states controlled by the party?
Of course, I've said that much. Imo State, the incumbent governor and our party is the party to beat. And when you have a Imo State where virtually all political party and even opposition are already working for the success of our candidates, I don't think we should exercise any doubt in the future of our party in Imo State. As for Kogi State, you have a multiple race of about 4 or 5 different different political party. You have the SDP, the ADC, the PDP, and so on and so forth. But the party that has the edge, going by the result of the last election, is the APC. And of course, with the what we saw in Lokoja when we went there, and of course, assessment that we have done cutting across all the local governments from Igala Mela to Ofu to Dekina in the Kogi East, and Gorimagogo, Adafi, and all of those areas, we are very optimistic that we are going to have resounding success by the grace of Almighty God on November 11 in Kogi State. And as for Bayelsa, we won in the last election, and we are hopeful to win the next election.
All right. So because this is the first set of elections to be conducted after the 2023 general elections, how do you think INEC can ensure credible conduct?
Of course, the 2023 election, as far as I'm concerned, was largely credible. It's just so fortunate that we have people whose democratic credentials appear doubtful that are trying to cast aspersion on that election. You will see that even from the litany of petitions that have been filed, the complaint that either assail election in terms of ballot stuffing, ballot snatching, arbitrary writing of results, did not surface in this election. It is absolutely irrelevant issues as to whether the certificate of a candidate was written in a particular font or the other, even when there is evidence that such a candidate graduated from that institution. You will see that, or to say that a candidate did not have 25% in a particular location, as if people in those locations are special being and have weighted vote, whereas the Constitution guarantees equality of vote and equality of every citizen of Nigeria. So I would say that the 2023 election is largely free and fair, and is an advancement on previous election. And I'm also optimistic that INEC will live up to its responsibility in delivering on free and fair election in Bayelsa, Kogi, and Imo on November 11, 2023.
All right, before I let you go, distinguished, it's important for me to have you react to this. Our court cases continue to trail our elections. How do we get over this?
Of course, electoral justice is always part of the democratic process, and that is why all over the country there's always the avenue for anybody who feel aggrieved in an election to approach the election petition tribunal, and whether successful or not, pursue the case up to the last appellate court. You cannot shut people out of such processes. But coming from the avalanche of petition after the 2003 election, which was badly rigged, brutally manipulated by the President Obasanjo government, where he publicly said it's a do or die affair. I think there has been a reduction in terms of numbers of election petitions, and issues in election petition is gradually narrowing down. I think most issues now boil down on issue of qualification or improper conduct of primaries producing candidate at the election. The question of actual conduct of the election is far becoming a receding feature in our electoral litigation.
All right. So finally, as the National Secretary of the ruling party, what's your message to Nigerians at this critical time?
Our message to Nigerian people is that we want to appeal to them in good conscience that they should show understanding and that we are conscious of the fact that Nigerians, all of us, are facing challenging period economically, and that we are prayerful and hopeful that with all efforts, some of these critical challenges will be a thing of the past. No government will set out to inflict hardship on those who have put him into power, but then we need to take decisions, hard decision it may be, to ensure that we live a country of prosperity and development for the present and also the future occupiers of this space called Nigeria.